So ma'am, can you just tell us about what are the types of personal stress a student goes through in their lifetime?
Okay, personal stresses, when you say with relationship to a student, it's most often like when you think of a student just coming into college after their 12th standard or something, it's most often a different college. So a whole lot of new people. So meeting new people and most often not having even a single friend from the previous institution that they've been in, and hence making new friends. That's one of the personal stresses that they go through. And even before we get on with this subject, I'd like to say personal stress is something which they just don't talk about. Even other kind of stresses, they might even share a little bit here and there, but personal stress is something they keep it so close to their heart that they'll be struggling and like a pressure cooker inside, but they don't want to talk about it. So that's how
I
they
just
are.
realize now that making friends also is a kind of sort of
Yes,
stress.
it is a stress because I have a lot of clients coming and telling me, ma'am, I've not been able to make a single friend. It's been 6 months now. It's been 3 months now. I don't sit with anybody. Nobody wants to sit with me. Or, they just get up and go away. They all form their own groups. I'm not able to, integrate myself or blend myself into any group. I don't seem like I belong here. All these things are there. This is the first thing that they feel when they come. And then of course, going beyond that stage, it's just generally in the first 6 months. After that, they all find their mojo. After that, it comes to, when they start chilling together, then it is the relationship part. They start making special friends. They get attracted to each other. Many things are misunderstood. They're not taken at face value. Many things could be serious as well. But, I don't want to discount every relationship. But by and large, most relationships are not the ones for the long run. So they are like kind of out of habit or out of compulsion. Like, everybody has a boyfriend, so I also need to have a boyfriend. This stress is there. So you won't be surprised, there are some people who come and ask me that I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Am I weird? I've heard this question many times. So it is such you can even call it peer pressure because everybody around them is walking around in couples, hand in hand with someone, and I don't have anybody. I feel left out.
Especially that Valentine's Day week.
Yes. So there are a lot of students who feel that. And there are a lot of them who are in serious relationships, who are committed to that person in their life. And then what happens is, either they fight or they see that there is no future in the relationship or one of them is kind of drifting away. That puts a lot of pressure and there is a lot of stress around that because the partner who's serious is very stressed. And there are lots of other things.
Yes, gets you in
and
trouble.
Because they invest, there is an emotional investment in that relationship. So they find it very difficult to accept that maybe they're not heading anywhere. So it's hard to accept that fact and then come to terms with it. There are lots of setbacks that happen. It's a painful period for them. So and this is especially in something they cannot discuss with their family because.
Correct.
Most often they will be told that we sent you there to study and not to make relationships, It's going to happen because the younger generation is always misunderstood by the previous one.
So what are the supporting factors? Like whom can they seek help from, ma'am?
See, most often, most people what they do is they share with their own friends, but again there is a limit to which how much they can share. So therapists do make a huge contribution because most often we don't judge them for whatever they say.
Are students open with you about this?
Yes,
or you
at
have
least
to
with
trigger
me.
for them to?
At least, see, when they come into my room, they're always doubtful. The first time when they walk in, they say, what can she do? I mean, she's older than my mother, or maybe she'll be just like another teacher. These are the questions or the kind of apprehensions they have. But the moment they start talking, and most often the very first sentence they will tell is, I don't know where to start from. There are so many things going on in my head. So my standard dialogue for that is, you begin from anywhere, we will get there. So ultimately they end up telling me everything, even though they start from somewhere, the whole story comes out. And then I've had many people tell me that, I never thought I would reveal so much about myself to you. But I guess it is the kind of atmosphere you provide for them. when they feel safe and when they feel that, okay, this person is different, or this person is not kind of
Gonna judge me.
yeah, he's not going to judge me, he's not jumping to conclusions, he's not giving me those accusing looks, or I don't even say anything. Even if they start crying, I don't say don't cry, because even that outlet is a necessity.
Right.
You need to cry.
Yes.
Like they say, most often a good cry and a hot cup of coffee is all we need. We are sorted.
Absolutely, yes.
So
Works out.
Yes, it works out. So that's the platform that I provide. I don't give any solutions, but what I do is I just trigger them to think in certain directions. So when I ask certain questions of like, don't you think it could be this way, or have you thought about this angle, it could be this way also for the other person. So that is when they start thinking, oh, I didn't think this way, I never thought they would also feel hurt. We had an argument last week and maybe he's still carrying it in his head. Then when you say, okay, don't you think you should apologize? So it, things that are very, high strung get fizzled out, and then, the tensions go down. So that's the different perspective that you give to a person, makes them thinking, gets them to think on those lines and maybe make amends. It's up to them because it's their story. So
is there a way or a word to be given to this method that you trigger them in such a way?
No, I don't know if you can give a one way or
I
just try to a word to it. Like I would say, see, it's a big word that we use in in therapy. We call it cognitive behavior therapy, which is not necessarily only this. It involves many other things as well, but it basically is trying to get the person to think in many different ways. So that is the cognitive part of it, getting them to recognize that there could be other ways. So obviously the behavior will change.
Yes.
So, and of course, if it is really bad and all that, we get other people involved, of course with the person's support and person's permission, because there is a confidentiality clause. So if that person permits, or if that person feels comfortable that okay, they can trust us to speak to somebody else who will support them, then we do it, but that's rare. Most often this much is enough, because most of them are sensible enough to understand, and they do think, and they're able to manage, and they come back and tell also, yes, I worked it out. Yeah. So
a small advice do you have for the students who are dating out there?
I would say dating per se is not wrong. Definitely, you need to. Many times you find your lifelong partner from your student days, but you have to be careful on what kind of a relationship you're feeding into, because many times people tend to use you as a stepping stone for other benefits, and you should not get shortchanged, because everywhere we invest emotionally, and those investments should not be looked back upon with resent by us later on. Why and how did I even trust this person, and that feeling leaves you feeling hollow. So you should understand that tread carefully basically, and never ignore telltale signs. If there is a person who is cheating on you, or who is double dating and stuff like that, there are red flags very loud and clear. Just be vigilant enough to notice them. When you do that, you can protect yourself.
But we also would want to know, does these other subcategories of stress impact relationship?
Of course they do. Of course they do. Because see, like any other category, every other category impacts the other as well, because you're a person in whole. So if you have had a bad day at home, you will obviously not have a lot of concentration in class, so it affects your academics. And when you're talking to your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you're going to be grumpy, you're going to be maybe sad or dull, and that person will ask you what happened. If you're not ready to share, you'll say, no, I'm not willing to tell you now. They get upset. It will affect every part of you. So how well you take it and how well you are able to keep it aside and move on is how well you would manage all your different parts put together. So again, it depends on the coping mechanisms that you adopt, and yeah, and life also teaches you many lessons.
Life does. Yeah. So, ma'am, we would also want to know any one suggestion that you have for students out there who are going through a breakup.
Breakup, yes. Breakup is a phase where they do need a lot of support, because and here I'm not even being gender specific, because it's almost equal for both. Although the questions might be different, the situations might be different, but
No, but there's something like this that we believe, that people say out there, that women feel more.
yeah, because we are more emotional and we show emotions more outwardly, but that doesn't negate a man's emotions.
Right.
He feels emotions as well, but he may not be very expressive. That actually is related to a more larger social upbringing or conditioning perspective. Boys are always told, don't cry, you're not a girl. So that's how they're brought up. So there is a compulsion within them not to show emotions. So they are not very open to that. But that doesn't mean they don't feel it.
Right.
They do feel it. Everywhere there is emotional investment. It's just not she who invests, it's he also invests. And depending on what conditions the breakup has happened, it would affect the other partner badly. And they do get through, there is always the why me phase, the phase of denial and, trying to go back and trying to say, no, I was sorry, I am sorry, I was in the wrong, even though you're not in the wrong. Now, these are certain patterns which you have to look and avoid doing, because when you have not done anything wrong, then you need to really have a hard look at your relationship. But then yes, there is a lot of emotional support that they need during that period. And that's where people like me, and even understanding family members, like could be an older sister or a cousin,
Helps a lot.
somebody who comes and helps along, that support, yes, they will need. So, and it's the initial stages, then after that they get to get back on their feet. But the pain will be there for some time, but they will not recall it with so much of pain as time goes by. We all recover.
heals,
Yes. And of course, with every breakup or every relationship gone wrong, there are lessons to be learned. Lessons both in terms of how the other person treated us, as well as how we interacted in that. See, it's not that we are always correct.
Correct. Right.
We also make so many mistakes, and in that particular relationship, what did we bring to the table to nurture that, for the growth of that relationship? These lessons we have to learn from every relationship that did not go right. So if that is done, definitely your next one could be your best one. So that is something which everybody should learn.
Okay, since you said this, this generation is too much into relationships, and on and off, it is a breakup and then a patch up. And also, it's just for fun. Dating is also for fun in this generation. So what is your say on this, to those couples out there who are just dating for fun?
See, any evolving society would make changes to all aspects of their life. So I look at it that way, that this particular phase in the current generation of dating on and off and multiple partners and stuff like that could be a part of that social change that we are going to see in the years to come. But all the same, they have to realize that the emotional investment that they do in every relationship, they leave behind a little bit of themselves in that broken relationship. If you're able to heal from it, you're good. But if you are damaged, you become very damaged from inside. This can cause you to never be completely happy in your other relationships, as in with your family, with your extended family, your friends. It will never make you feel complete and happy. So that is the word of caution I would like to give them. Okay, multiple relationship, yes, if you must, but be aware that there is a possibility that you can become very broken inside. So tread with caution.
So this is what we got to hear about personal stress from Bama ma'am today. Ma'am, it was great having you on the show today.
It was great talking to you, Rida.
Let's get on to the next stress the next time. So we're going to be talking about the other more stresses in the coming sessions with the therapist in the weekends. Thank you.
Thank you.